My name is Amarjot Singh and I'm a ICCRC consultant here in Edmonton, Alberta. What we are trying to do today is to let people know the essential requirements of submission and express entry. As you can see on the screen, this is the screen showing the requirement to submit a complete electronic application. Many people who are doing it themselves, they know what the basic requirements are, but sometimes and somehow they will miss the finer details on what those documents are supposed to be and how they are supposed to be complete. So we will look at those requirements just briefly, and I hope it's very clear. And if you still have any questions, you can always email me. So look at the requirement to submit a complete electronic application. There are three basic requirements, which shows starting from the top is you have to have the APR, which is when you submit the application, is called electronic APR. APR is application for PR. The second is cost recovery fees. Of course, the fees has to be correct. You will not believe how many times applicants will make a wrong amount of the fees and the application will be refused. And the third is all supporting documents to validate, whatever you said in the express entry. So that's the supporting documents. Look at the document checklist on the screen, starting with a medical examination confirmation. So the medical examination confirmation, everybody needs a medical examination. Who else? The husband, wife, and dependent children. Everybody, including non-accompanying children. Everybody needs a medical examination. The medical examination, as you see on the screen, must be done in advance. It's called upfront and must be valid at the time of application, because the medical results expire after 12 months. So it has been determined that you need to have the medical examination done in the past 12 months when you are uploading that information. So you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a printout sheet which has some logo and the barcode on it. So that is what you upload here. All right. So that's very important. There are some exceptions where you don't need one, but typically everybody needs medical examination. Let's look at the police certificates. So police certificates are required for all residence area where you have been living for more than 6 months after the age of 18. I mean, if you look at here, it's very clear, more than 6 months. I've had some examples where people will not want to tell immigration that that's where they lived. Maybe they think nobody knows, but it's always matched with the personal history and the address history, and they can always find out where you lived. And if you don't tell them, that constitutes misrepresentation. But for all the places where you have lived for total of 6 months or more, you need the police clearance from that place. And the PCC must have been issued no more than 6 months before the submission, which you can see right at the top. So within the past 6 months, and it must be done from the age of 18. There are some places where you actually have to apply for the PCC, and they will say, hey, bring a letter from the CIC and then we'll give you one, just like they give you example of New Zealand. And I think countries like possibly Saudi Arabia also, some countries have that system, but we can find out which countries will wait for the letter from the CIC so that then they will issue. In countries like, I know in Afghanistan, they will not release the PCC directly to the applicant. They will send it to the Canadian embassy in Ottawa. So that's where you can collect it from. So that's a little variation in some visa post, but more or less that is what you're looking at. Everybody needs a PCC, and the PCC has to be original. You can just scan the original PCC in color, as you see on the screen, and you have to just upload them. Who needs one? The principal applicant, the husband, wife, and all dependent children 18 years or above. They need the PCC. So very important. I've seen many examples where lack of PCC will get the decline. Of course, you need the passport. Passport is, of course, the passport. Passport must be valid, unexpired, required from the husband, wife, and accompanying dependent children. Non-accompanying dependent children do not need a passport. Look at proof of experience. This is quite important. These are mandatory documents. A reference or experience letter from the employer, which should be an official document printed on company letterhead, which is showing the applicant's name, the company's contact information, the name, title, signature, who's signing it, must indicate all positions held while employed at the company, must include the following details: job title, duties, responsibility, job status, dates where you were working, number of hours per week where you were working, how much was the annual salary, if there's any benefits. And if the applicant is self-employed, I get this question many times: hey, I'm self-employed, I'm a doctor, I have my own clinic, then what? What do you do? How do you get the experience letter? So what you need from those applicants is you need articles of incorporation or any other evidence of business ownership, evidence of income from self-employment, or documents from third-party people, indicating that service was provided, along with the payment information. If they were charging money, so how much money was paid. So they want to find out if the experience is paid experience. So that's what the proof of experience is. All right. Look at we know about the copy of birth certificate. Everybody needs one. Look at the proof of studies. Proof of studies, we need the ECA, of course. You have to have the ECA for the foreign qualifications. But if you have the Canadian one, then the regular degree or diploma will suffice. Look at on the top, we need the ECA for the foreign, for the Canadian education, for secondary, post-secondary, certificates, diploma, degrees, and transcripts. All these ECA documents will have the DLI number of the Canadian institution where they complete the highest degree to the assigned points. So that's good. In cases where applicants' background information says that the Canadian credential education have been obtained via distance learning abroad, it is at the officer discretion to request for supporting documents. That's good. Where the ECA has been obtained, the applicant must provide ECA reference number in the APR for the online validation. So this is pretty important actually stuff here. I mean, this is without this, the application will be turned down. Provincial, territorial certificate of qualification, yes, of course. If you have one, then you know how it looks like, and that's what it is. Letter of offer from the employer. Now this is for the arranged employment offer. Some people are getting arranged employment offer because of existing work permit or maybe future job promise. So you need the letter from the employer, and it must be printed on the company letterhead, and stating the applicant's name, contact information, name, title, blah blah blah, including following details: start date, commitment that will be employed on a continuous paid full-time work at least 1 year after the issuance of PR visa. So that's good. If there's a LMIA, then the LMIA should be attached with the letter as well. So that's a part of the thing that they can say that the person is already working in Canada. Let's look at proof of funds. You already know proof of funds. We need the proof of funds. Based on LICO, you need a bank statement. So it must be from a bank where you have the money, and must include your name, your information of the bank, and contact information, the account number, the date account was open, the current balance, and the average balance for the past 6 months. That's what you need. I mean, it's not just enough to have a fresh bank account and deposit millions of dollars in one day and show that this is the money we have. That's not good. You need to have they're looking at the average balance for the past 6 months. So let's look at the other one. Use of rep. You don't need one if you're not applying. Evidence of common law. That's fine. If you have a common law, then there's evidence. Marriage certificates is okay. Divorce certificate is fine. Death is fine. Adoption is certificate. So that's what. Other documents are proof of relationship to a relative. If you have some relative in Canada, you're looking at a copy of both sides of their relatives, citizenship document or a birth certificate or a PR card, both sides. So that's what they can find out. Who's this person? How is he related to you? You also need to find out if they have a residential lease or mortgage documents or utility bill, to show that he's actually living in Canada. That person cannot be living overseas and be a relative. They have to be living in Canada, all right? So how do you prove that they are related to you, you must have a birth certificate or official document naming the applicant as a parent or some other relationship. A copy of inside back of a relative's passport showing the relative's parents. So it's pretty clear there. This digital photos, other name. If you have been using some other name to show that whatever name has been used in the past or legal name change. And that's all it is for you to understand. You have to have complete documents, otherwise your EAPR application will be turned down. All right. Thank you very much.